If this order is allowed to stand, we are gravely concerned that it will give the government the ability to completely remove opposing counsel from the picture in seeking orders against Albertans. The very bedrock of democracy, the rule of law, and the principles of fairness and justice may be at stake here. This has been a grueling battle, and without the help of Albertans that they've given to Chris, there would be limited opposition to these efforts to truncate fundamental rights by the government. Wish us luck.
As we speak, lawyers are in court right now trying to overturn a secretly obtained restraining order against the rights of Albertans to protest their own government. That secret court order has been used to arrest one pastor in Calgary and one small town business owner, and it could be used to arrest you too. It's an uphill battle to have this thing overturned, and we need your help to do it. Last Thursday, lawyers for Alberta Health Services went to court in Calgary and obtained a restraining order against two named individuals and also the rest of us. Look at this. Here's the court order. Respondents: Chris Scott, Whistle Stop 2012 Limited, Glenn Carrott, he's the organizer of United We Roll Convoy to Ottawa, and John Does and Jane Does. It is hereby ordered that the named individual respondents and any other person acting under their instructions or in concert with them or independently to like effect, and with notice of this order, shall be restrained anywhere in Alberta from organizing an in-person gathering, including requesting, inciting, or inviting others to attend an illegal public gathering, promoting an illegal public gathering via social media or otherwise, attending an illegal public gathering of any nature in a public place or private place, which each have the same meaning as given to them in the Public Health Act. And according to the current government, an illegal public gathering is one that doesn't comply with the 5-person outdoor gathering limitations. 6 people at a birthday party, you're in breach. And those 5 people gathered together must also wear masks and physical distance. To summarize, the government has gone and received a secret restraining order against you and your right to criticize them in public. And if you breach that order, you're in contempt of court. And it's not just a fine anymore. You could be taken straight to jail. Don't believe me? That order was already used to arrest owner of the Whistle Stop Cafe, Chris Scott, after he held a 1,500-person strong protest in his small town of just 500 people after the government chained his business closed on Wednesday afternoon, ostensibly cutting off the community of Mirror, Alberta from its only gas station and convenience store. Why? All because Chris refused to go broke and reopened his restaurant in defiance of the lockdown restrictions way back in January. And that same order was already used to arrest Pastor Art Pawlowski because Pastor Art refused to close his church in Calgary. The revolting images of a clergyman on his knees with his hands behind his back on wet pavement on a Calgary freeway went viral around the world. And the thing about that order is it's not going to be just used against business owners and clergymen who resist the lockdown. The unnamed Jane and John Does in that restraining order, that's the rest of us. Our rights to protest and organize protests and promote protests against the government's bad decisions are being taken away from us by that restraining order. And it was all obtained in secret. Alberta Health Services knows full well that Chris Scott has a lawyer. It's Chad Williamson. He's argued against Alberta Health Services in court on behalf of Chris Scott. Why did Alberta Health Services leave Chad Williamson out of any legal proceedings there? Why was Chad Williamson not allowed to be present in court and make arguments on behalf of his client? Now, for those of you who have been following along, you already know that Chad Williamson is Chris Scott's Fight the Fines lawyer. He's also the Fight the Fines lawyer for Glenn Carrott, the other individual named specifically in the restraining order. Chad's been working hard for those two and for dozens of other Albertans through Rebel News' largest civil liberties initiative to date, the aforementioned Fight the Fines project, where we help people like Chris and Glenn fight their lockdown tickets and summonses and other governmental attacks in court at no cost to them by putting them in touch with top criminal lawyers and litigation specialists like Chad Williamson. This secret restraining order is so sneaky and sleazy and unfair that it must be overturned. And right now, as you're watching this video, Chad Williamson is arguing in front of a judge that that order was unlawfully obtained and it must not stand, and that Albertans must be free to express our discontent with the government. Take a listen to Chad.
We're gearing up for a complex but critical procedural application tomorrow on behalf of Chris and the Whistle Stop. We'll be asking the court to set aside the order granted last week without notice to us, without representations by counsel, and without disclosure to the court that Chris was represented by a lawyer when the order was granted. We have now put evidence before the court that we sent correspondence to Alberta Health Services the day before the application was heard, that we represented Chris, and that we were requesting that further dialogue with Alberta Health Services be put to our immediate attention. What hangs in the balance tomorrow is whether or not the government has the ability to sidestep counsel altogether, go into court ex parte on the pretense of public health to get an order making your activities illegal and arrestable without notifying your lawyer, without that lawyer being able to make arguments to the court, or even making full and frank disclosure to the court that you're represented by a lawyer so that the court has all of the salient information put before it prior to granting the government wide-reaching powers to arrest and jail people. If this order is allowed to stand, we are gravely concerned that it will give the government the ability to completely remove opposing counsel from the picture in seeking orders against Albertans. The very bedrock of democracy, the rule of law, and the principles of fairness and justice may be at stake here. This has been a grueling battle, and without the help of Albertans that they've given to Chris, there would be limited opposition to these efforts to truncate fundamental rights by the government. Wish us luck.
Chad's in court fighting for Chris and Glenn, but he's also there fighting for the rest of us in this province, the rest of us innocent people who had our own government seek and win a secret restraining order against our right to criticize the government in public. It's the kind of thing we see unfolding in Hong Kong, where the communists from Beijing are using the excuse of public safety and public security to stop protests against communist totalitarianism. It's not something that we normally see in the free world. I'm sad and I'm angry that this is happening in Alberta. That's why we have to fight back with everything we can. If we don't have the right to criticize the government, how do we stop them from taking away the next right from us? Can you help us support Chris and Glenn as Chad Williamson and his team fights for all of our freedoms in court today? If they are unsuccessful today, and that's a possibility, they're not going to stop fighting. This could be just the beginning. It's going to be extremely expensive. But what else can we do but fight for freedom? If you're able to help, donate today at fightthefines.com to offset the legal fees of our attempts to fight for the civil liberties of every single person in Alberta. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. The Alberta government sought and won in secret a restraining order that takes away the rights of millions of innocent Albertans to criticize their government in public. We're fighting back, but we need your help. Can you help us by offsetting the legal costs to fight this in court? If you can, please donate today at fightthefines.com, and all donations there now qualify for a charitable tax receipt through the registered Canadian charity, the Democracy Fund. Again, that special website is fightthefines.com.